My name is Chris Cox. I'm a professor in the Department of Mathematics and also the department head there. I think one of the main definitions of artificial intelligence is that it's an effort to mimic human intelligence. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. It involves trying to train oftentimes a computer and offering it the chance to learn over and over again to get better at what it's doing. ChatGPT, like I said, is AI-based. It's machine learning, and my understanding is it primarily uses two types of machine learning. It uses what's called supervised learning, which is involves at a high level training it with training sets for which you know the output. And in that sense, it's only as good as the data it's been trained on. So that's supervised learning. And I read that it also uses what's called reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is another type of machine learning that is a reward-based system. It may not be so much that it has training sets with a known output. It may have a reward, for example, of optimizing time spent doing a task or minimizing some other cost involved with the task, and somehow giving the algorithm a reward for doing that well. I think they need to use it with some caution and be aware of what students are doing. But I also feel that it can enhance teaching. I think it's scary, yes, but I think there's a real excitement to it for me in the sense of the challenge and the opportunities. It's going to force us to learn how to teach differently in some ways. We may need to learn how to teach in some new formats. We may need to learn more with technology, get a better handle on that. The immediate response that you see a lot of times right now in academia is that the faculty will be not giving tests online so much. They'll be giving tests more in a proctored environment. My colleagues are doing that right now, and that's okay. I just think we'll need to learn how to do things differently. We may need to learn to test different things and learn how to use AI in a constructive fashion. I really believe we can do that. Well, I wonder if it will change somewhat what we teach. I think that's happening in the math world right now in terms of some tasks can be done so fast on a computer that we're learning more to use those and move on to other things that we can create and invent ourselves. I think AI will offer those same opportunities. I think it's going to expand our horizons. I really think that, again, I think there's lots of opportunities there if we use it correctly, and I think it presents opportunities not just in the technical fields, but all across all fields in the university setting. There's obvious philosophical questions to it, there's obvious psychological questions to it. I think it's going to encourage some really interesting interdisciplinary work. I think we have to be very careful that it's not used wrong, and I think we have to be careful that we use it with our eyes wide open. There's clear issues with some of the technology right now. It's only as good as what it's trained on. So there's lots of documentation about there being bias, for example, in the training sets for facial recognition, right? If you train those all on white males, it's going to be obviously biased against the whole rest of humanity, and that's being seen. So we have to be very careful. That's why we need the ethicists and the philosophers and other people involved in all this decision making. But again, I think it can be a very positive and useful tool for us if it's used in the right way. I hope it will encourage people to study more. That's one of my own personal biases and selfish things, but I think that's a very positive thing. I think this could present some great learning opportunities. I also think as we see the limitations of this technology more and more, I hope and think that that'll help us appreciate what machines cannot do. In the end, it cannot be a fully relational device. I really hope that it'll accentuate the importance of having a human element, and I believe it will.